Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to The Full Ratchet. On today's special segment of Investor Stories, the investors address trends, sectors, and markets that they think are positioned for outsized returns in the future. This is the segment called What's Next?
On today's special segment, we have Tripp Jones of Encore Capital. Tripp, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
Yeah. What am I most excited about? There are some kind of buzzy sectors that I spend a lot of time thinking about. I think a lot about the proverbial creator economy and where it's going and kind of how our traditional work lives are changing in real time and what that means and all the different companies and marketplaces and tools and businesses that can be built around it. I'm very focused on all things the future of Web3. I've only dipped my toe in it because I think so much of it is just noise and grift. But I think at its fundamental, there's going to be some gigantic businesses that look a lot like the marketplaces of yesteryear with the similar power laws and dynamics. And then I go back around and focus on what's just next in the normal, boring consumer economy? Where the next great consumer product or service is coming? Because someone is going to start, the next Tesla or the next Coca-Cola or the next whatever. And there will be iconic, gigantic businesses built this year that will last for the next 100.
On today's special segment, we have Jenny Lefcourt of Freestyle. Jenny, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I would say my biggest one that I'm bullish on is elder tech. If you look at the numbers of how much of our population is going into this kind of over 60, it is massive. I forget my exact numbers, but in over 5 years, 10 years, it will be the largest sector. And they're behaving very differently because they're younger. They don't want to go to the old age home, right? And they don't want assisted living, and they're not even there. Some of them still want to work and live, but they don't want the headache of a house. And so I think there is a lot where tech can play a role in helping that group really live and really thrive in a different way. So many, very little tech has entered that world. And I don't mean tech like apps, but really making their lives better and easier, paying attention to the macro trends of how they're living differently. A 65-year-old is living differently than they were 20 years ago.
Especially with how fast technology and the world moves and how difficult problems and getting things done become for people that are elder.
Yeah, one of the investments they made in this area is called Upside Home. And their unique insight was that people, when they want to leave their main home, A, they don't know where to go. And then B, talk about daunting. Take a 65, even if they're healthy, 65, 70-year-old, the thought of figuring it all out, doing it all, getting the cable connected and the phone line connected and this and all these bills and all. I mean, as my age, I have trouble with that. And so they kind of have these cool apartments that are completely built for that, not completely built, but have all the infrastructure that age group would want, but they're not in an old age community. They're their neighbors are not all old, and then they give them resources that they would want. So basically trying to give them a headache-free life and do the things for them that they don't want to do, but not make them have to, sort of put up a flag that says, I'm old and I'm ready to sunset, because a lot of them are still very, very, very much alive and thriving. So I'm excited about that one.
On today's special segment, we have Ravi Viswanathan of New View Capital. Ravi, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I think just B2B software, we still think we're in the early innings, even though it's been 20 years since really Salesforce. Whether it's vertical SaaS, certain industries, a lot of the fintech investment, you could say it's vertical SaaS and financial services. So I think that's still a very big area. We play heavily at the application layer, also at the infrastructure layer. Any of these engagement platforms that we're really excited about. In fintech, we're very much infrastructure B2B house. We just have seen a lot. We also have partners that were practitioners. They worked at big banks and they worked at big fintech companies that really knows these products. We can assess them pretty quickly. I'd mentioned B2B payments. When I did Venmo Braintree, this was a decade ago, that was B2C payments. Even then it was over 50%. There was a digital alternative, right? And the B2B payment side, it's 2%. It's still ACH and check. And so that market is so underpenetrated. We've got several bets in that space. Companies like Modern Treasury and Paystand and Neum and Rapid.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.